Good afternoon, sports fans. I'm your friendly neighborhood Paul here, bringing you the next episode of Nostalgia on the Rocks, where we sit down, talk about the games of old, the games of new, and everything in between. And I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, the Tetris Camp Counselor himself, ProbablyOliver. How you doing, my man?
This week in Tetris, I came second in a game of Tetris 99, and the first person was just someone called Helen, and it was just Helen with a big heart, and it makes me hope it's someone's like mum or aunt, just playing Tetris to like kill the evenings, just getting down on some blocks, and I wish her all the best. But she wiped the fucking floor with me. Let me tell you that. Ooh. Oof.
It's like she does it just to feel something. Speaking of feeling something, ooh, we are joined today by the amazing, some would say that one of the fastest men on Twitch, others would say the most musically gifted among us. Gam3rAtom, how you doing, my man?
How's it going, guys? It's going really well. I'm, super excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys are having a good day.
I'm glad someone is happy to be here, Oliver.
I'm always happy to be here. Always happy.
Really, I just remembered where to look at your box because I was like, it's this way, right? Just mean glare for no fucking reason.
Always happy to be here. Just fucking angry with Helen this week. Just
fucking
not a fan of Helen.
All right, so for anybody who doesn't know you, Adam, give us your elevator pitch. Who are you?
Okay, so basically on Twitch, you guys might know me as Gam3rAtom. I'm a variety streamer who has started doing some speedruns, who does a variety of story games, and who loves to play multiplayer games. On top of that, I absolutely love music, and I try to push that in my streams as much as possible, whether it's by doing music nights or music days or whatever it might be, pulling out a guitar and singing and doing all that. I think those are like some of the most fun experiences. And yeah, I've been streaming now since July, loving it and learning how to basically, entertain the masses that for some reason like to come and see me be a stupid person on a website. That's good.
Now I have a real question, and I must ask, as you are an individual who will occasionally pull out a guitar, how many times do you hear "Play Wonderwall"?
Oh, literally every time the guitar gets pulled out. Every time.
I imagine there's like 3 songs. I imagine there's that, "Stairway to Heaven," and then what's the Metallica song?
And it's Sandman?
Yeah, there it is. I was like, those are like the 3 songs I always hear people be like, "Stairway to Heaven," and then it's like, just because the Wayne's World thing, it's like, whoa, oh.
No stairway.
It'd be incredible if you just asked, like, oh, how many times do you get, like, "Play Wonderwall"? And Adam just pulled out his guitar and was like, I said maybe! Straight into it. Like,
Wait. I mean, what do you want me to do?
Oh, man, I thought I was good with the props. He's like, nope.
No, but like Wonderwall is one that actually gets pulled out literally every stream that the guitar comes out. I've never gone Stairway or Enter the Sandman, but I'm also glad that I haven't gone those because I don't know them. I mean, I know Stairway a little bit. Like that's one of the first things I learned how to pick, like the intro to Stairway. But it's also been years since I've played it. But Wonderwall, like that, I know.
Yeah, that one you kind of have to know. All right. So, as is tradition here on the show, because I mean it is called Nostalgia on the Rocks, so obviously we need to be sipping on something. So we're going to start off as always with ProbablyOliver. What you got in your glass today, my man?
I'm just kicking with the beers today. I got 2 beers. I've got 2 of each of these beers. In fact, I've got both ales. I've got a Camden Hells Pale Ale. Very, very nice from the Camden Town Brewery, which is often seen on my streams. I am open to sponsorships. And the other one, it's a gluten-free session IPA from Vocation, Heart and Soul. Very delicious beer. Very, very good beer. Goes down nice and smooth. It's
Yeah, because they take all the gluten out, so obviously it's going to be better.
it's delicious.
They
It's
removed
delicious.
all that nasty gluten. You're good to go.
So I've not got a pop for today, but we can have like a little ring pull. So hopefully this translates to the mic.
Ooh, that did. Yeah, that did. That was felt something there. All right, Adam. Now I understand. Obviously, for me and Ollie, it's 6 in the evening, so obviously it's we can drink no problem. You, on the other hand, where are you located at? Because I know you're. I'm not even gonna venture a guess. There's too many people in North America to try to guess.
That's fair. So I'm Toronto based. For people in like that Toronto region, you'll understand why the quotation marks. But so it is currently 1:30 p.m. I don't normally drink, so you guys know me. I'm not a big drinker. I typically stick to sparkling water. Bubbly is my thing. Still open for sponsorship, by the way. I do these content things. But
Where did you get this guest, Paul? Why?
Look, I was trying to bring some wholesomeness in here to see if that would get sponsors. Like we've tried gritty. Now we're trying hopeful, and then next week we're just gonna keep like throwing different things until somebody swings out some other things here.
Listen, I hate to be the wholesome breaker, but because I heard today was kind of a special day for one of us here, I decided to pull out some plum brandy. I don't normally drink, and I decided something today would be, a little bit special. I've never had this before. It's called Slavovica. Don't ask. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. There's no cork, sadly. It is a twist off, but I do like brandy, rum, things of that sort
Now,
sometimes.
I was gonna say
That
if
is
it
what I'm gonna
hasn't
be doing.
been opened yet, just get it close to the mic so that way you can just hear that like.
All right, I'm gonna do that, but I'm also gonna do one thing too. I'm gonna turn off the noise removal. Beautiful. Could you hear that? Did it come through?
We heard it come off a little bit there, little bit.
Okay, that's the best I can do.
Close enough. It's close enough. It's close.
Cheers.
We'll put it in post.
Yeah,
we'll put it in post.
I'm just gonna, man, you're asking a lot of my editing abilities, but all you're gonna hear in that part is just like a sound of a bag, like just a brown paper bag. Yeah, it's so good, clean. Oh, yeah. I kind of want to talk about this even before I get to my drink. I would like to wish a very happy anniversary to the one and only Probably Oliver, who is so dedicated to this show. He told say like, I'm here. I got this show to do. You can wait. Or do you want to tell them the truth?
Me and Atom were talking like just a moment ago. So me and C were supposed to be getting married in a couple weeks, 3rd of June this year. Originally, we were supposed to be getting married last year, but COVID went, no, you're not allowed. And then again, this year, COVID went, nah, still not allowed. So kind of in the hustle and bustle of us like replanning a wedding and trying to sort out like what exactly is going on with us, we both totally forgot that it was our anniversary. We've been together 8 years, and every year we normally do like some really fun shit like for the anniversary of us like being together. This year we both totally forgot until yesterday, and we both sort of looked at each other and were like, fuck.
and I said it a little bit earlier. I was like, since you both forgot, it's a mulligan. No one's in trouble. Absolutely. It's like if it had been one or the other, because obviously if she forgets, that's just a get out of jail free card for at least a year. Like at least a year, a get out of jail free card. We're like, you forgot to fold the laundry. You forgot an anniversary. You just
additional like
ooh, but like if you forget, then it's just bad times. That's just bad times.
Additional like annex to that though is that like, without either of us knowing it was our anniversary, we had booked to go out for a meal tonight, and I turned around to her like last week and was like, oh, we're gonna have to move that because I've got the podcast with Paul, like we can't do next weekend, we'll just move it. And so we cancelled an actual like going out to eat and sit down meal tonight to come be on here. So I'm not saying I am holding this show together, but if the shoe fits, it's
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want the record to show, just to clear my own conscience here. I didn't know about any of this stuff prior to us. I moved like the show because normally we try to do it on Fridays, but I had Mass Effect drop, so I wanted to do that. I wanted to play that first thing because we're gonna talk about that game obviously here in a little bit. But I was like, oh yeah, we'll move it to Saturday if everybody's cool with it. Everybody was like, yeah, I'm free Saturday, so yeah, sure thing. I'm like, cool. And then had I even the smallest inkling, had Oliver been like, hey, I would have been like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, no problem. We'll either move it up or we'll just like move it a week. Like, it's not that big a deal. So hey.
more. This is more important than my future wife, my the future Mrs. Probably. This show it takes precedence. What can I say? I'm glad she doesn't watch this. Oh my god.
Somebody
oh my god.
clip this now. I need this clipped out. It's gonna go on the YouTube, but I need somebody to clip it out now. So that way when I dub over it for the YouTube being like, just beep during that entire section so he doesn't get in trouble later on. Good Lord. Okay, so I am drinking so I ain't gonna lie to you. I went to the store and I just grabbed the first bottle of scotch I found. So I have, which I forgot to flip my camera around, so this is backwards. Glen, I'm gonna butcher this. Garioch. I don't know how to pronounce that in Scottish. Garioch.
It'll be an och.
Garioch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're lying or not. Garioch. But anyway, it's a Glen, so it is it's a Highland Scotch, 12-year. So we are. I'm trying it out. I was like, I haven't had this one before. This looks nice, and more importantly, it's not gonna break the bank. So we are ripping off a little bit of that. Let's get that close to the. Hang on. Here's the mic up a smidgen. Sorry for everybody's ears there.
Oh, the noise gate got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it got it.
I heard a tiny little like.
All right. Well, on stream, I saw that bar skyrocket. So I'm like, all right, that hit. That hit at least on the stream. So at least in the recording, it'll be there. So, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans around the world, I raise a glass to you guys. You made it through another week, and I'm so happy that you guys can be here with us. So, without further ado, cheers to you guys.
Okay.
Ooh.
Good.
Ooh, that is nice. That has got a bold, smoky aftertaste, and I am all about it. Classic barrel bourbon and sherry cask, very much. Yeah, what about the plum brandy? This is what I need to know about right now.
So smooth, and like actually has the taste of plum, which is really weird because alcohols, other than smoky, normally for me, my palate's very sensitive to alcohol, so I get the burning sensation and pain. Like those are the two flavors I get. This works surprisingly well. It's very sweet, has a beautiful plum sweetness to it, like flavor, and then it has just a hint, I think, of smokiness, like just like the slightest little hint. Delicious.
Smidgen, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thankfully we got to a good stopping point. Thankfully, we're at a good stopping point on that one. Ladies and gents, please refresh if you have not already. Fuck, man, I have not had a stream do that in a hot minute. I don't even hit anything.
On a good note, though, Ollie looks amazing right now.
Yeah, Ollie now is like that. Maybe that's what it was. Discord had to catch up, so now it's like, oh yeah, you want that crystal clear Oliver? It's gonna cost you in bit rates.
It's about frames.
Nope, actually no, frames are still solid. I don't understand. All right, we're here. Let me just throw something up in here just to double check.
In case people missed it, like this is really delicious. Sweet. Very good. I like sweet alcohols. It's not
Okay.
overpowerfully sweet though, so.
Mhm. All right, I don't know if we're still live. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. I can see that, like, I can see us being live.
Okay. All right, then send it. We'll go and we'll just do a little bit of editing.
Yep, seems like it's working.
Editing, yay! This is just.
To be fair, you're right though. That's kind of stopped at a good time. Like, you know, we got the what are we drinking out of the way. It's
Yep.
not mid conversation, so that's
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
All right, so
Oh, I feel bad.
who would like to start us off on the games? Because like I said, I can talk about Sorry, I accidentally didn't run that back. So who would like to start us off talking about the games? I could, because I wrapped up one and then started another, and I know, but I could go on and on about the new one.
I want to hear about Mass Effect. Like,
Okay.
as we have spoken about before on this show, I have never played Mass Effect. I'm starting the Legendary Edition, starting Mass Effect 1 on Monday on my stream, but I've never played them before. I'm really excited, but I want to know how is it? How does this 13-year-old game hold up?
Okay, so before I actually touch that, I'm gonna talk about Ghost of Tsushima first, because I wrapped up Ghost of Tsushima. I beat the main campaign. I rolled credits. Let me rephrase this. I rolled credits on Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I have to say that is because some people are like, "Oh, what did you do all the side stuff?" I'm like, no, I did not 100% the game. I just rolled credits on it. Which I did do a handful of stuff, but I knew Mass Effect was looming, and as soon as Mass Effect dropped, I was like, Ghost is gonna get put on the back burner, and I'd hate to have that game 2/3 of the way done and then never finish it. But I really enjoyed that game. I really like the writing in that game. I thought was really good. Graphically, it was amazing. The combat, though at times was a bastard, was still good. Like, it was still a solid overall going with it. And so with it doing that, like, the combat was fun to do. Like I said, the writing was solid. The way you kind of it plays with the, do you go, are you gonna be a samurai or are you gonna be the ghost, like, and all that stuff, and like especially like the way that game ends, like just with the way it ends, is all I'm gonna say, and like the decisions that you have to make near the end of the game. I thought they did that super well, and I understand fully why certain individuals put that as their game of the year. Completely understand, because that was just like the environment itself was beautiful, which, like,
That whole third act is just like it's so hard to talk about Ghost without going
okay,
into.
but here's the thing, right? The game's been out for a year, correct? A little over a
Adam,
year?
have you played Ghost of Tsushima?
No, but I've watched people play it, so I have this weird mind where I can kind of like turn off my brain to spoilers for like certain things.
Okay.
I don't remember anything of Ghost, and I've watched 4 people play it. So
All right, so we're gonna go into a little bit of spoilers real quick. If you don't want spoilers, just hit mute. When we're done talking about spoilers, I'll do this, and then you can come back. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Go for it.
Oh my god, the horse. The Jesus fucking Christ, the horse. I have never been so kind of. I was not expecting to be hit as hard as I did, like, but they really get you attached to your horse, from naming it, like, from like the little, like, when you kind of like go into like a menu or something, or do a fast travel thing, and it shows like the little clip of you like sort of like hanging out with your horse, or like just being fucking bros with your horse, and then they just unceremoniously fucking kill it in front of your eyes. Holy shit! Like, that was insane.
And I love how, I do love how, like, they even had you bury the horse. Like, you even had, like, they buried the horse there, and I was like, wow, that is, like, okay. Like,
did you ever go back to the grave?
I did go back, but I didn't like look at the grave. Why?
There's little like voice lines and stuff that Jen will say, like, and it's just like, oh, they really are like driving this home.
It was,
and as well, Oh yeah, sorry. I just get excited about the games.
No, it was so like you had that whole thing happen, but then it was like just like at the end of Act 2, where you are fighting against essentially like your like best friend, and like the whole reason he even was there or like doing anything was because
Ryozu.
yeah, and it's like because he was just there and he was like doing what he thought was for the best, and just fucking hell, man. That threw me so hard. And then I was like, because you have that moment where he was like, oh, just say I was your spy, say this, say that, like we could make this work. And I was like, oh shit, are we about to do this right now? Like, am I about to lie to my uncle? And it was just like, nah, done. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
And then even past that, you fight the Khan, and then you're like, even before the Khan,
Taka?
yeah, Taka dying, which as soon as that happened, I saw that shit coming. As soon as he was with me, I'm like, oh, he's dead. Oh, he is so dead. There is no way. Oh, I'm gonna come help you. I'm like, you dumb. You're gonna get killed. I don't know how, but you're gonna get. And then like, cut him down and I'll let you free. And then it's just like, he takes a stab at the Khan, which I was like, I respect it. I respect the move. Stupid, but I respect it. And so so he takes that swipe and just, obviously just gets killed.
It's so brutal. So brutal.
And then
the last question I want to like before, like, because I just need to know, like, what did you choose at the end?
Oh, I killed him.
Okay. All right.
I
walked away.
See, here's the thing, right? So in that moment, right? So for everybody who's listening who hasn't already tuned out for spoilers, you at the end of the game you have to fight your uncle. Like, your uncle was ordered by the Shogun to bring the ghost in or kill the ghost. It was like either the ghost dies or your clan is dissolved. Like, because they already dissolved like the clan Sakai. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So it's either it either was like so your clan already got dissolved, so your uncle's clan was going to get dissolved, or he would have to kill the ghost and he would continue to live and do that stuff. Which I had a bad feeling something like that was happening whenever that whole thing starts and I'm wearing Ronin clothing and I'm like, I haven't worn this in a minute. Weird how I'm not allowed to wear my armor. Weird how we're just sitting here and having a real bro moment here. I'm like, this is not gonna fucking end well for any of us. And so you do the fight ends, and you cut him down essentially to where he's like bleeding, but he's not actually dead yet. And he's like, kill me. It was like, finish me off, give me a warrior's death, all that stuff. And you can either choose to honor him and do that, or walk away and be the ghost. In that moment, I was very much in that game like, yeah, your honor, I was doing the Javik from Mass Effect, stand the ashes of a trillion dead souls and ask them if honor matters, which I think is one of the best goddamn lines I've ever heard in a video game. And he's sit there and he's like, and I was like, okay, my honor's gone. Like, I don't care about it. But at the same time, my uncle, it's still something very crucial to my uncle. So I was like, I gotta do this, because I would hate for my uncle to then have to live the rest of his life knowing that. Like, going through and knowing that he failed and all this shit. So I was like,
fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair justification of it. Like, I walked away. I was like, look, the like, as far as I'm concerned, the old ways are over. I am not killing you because that is what you want.
Yeah.
Like, I walked away.
It was one of, that was the thing. It was one of those, like, I killed him just like it. I felt like it was necessary, because I was like, because if I don't, he would have killed himself. In my brain, in my headcanon, the uncle would have done the, I forget what that's called. Seppuku. Thank you.
There we go.
I was gonna totally butcher say the complete wrong words, but yeah, I was like, I had a feeling like if I didn't do it, he was gonna kill himself. And I looked it up afterwards to see like what happens, and obviously, he puts the mask on and you just like fucking bounce. But yeah. So there is your spoilers for Ghost. Spoilers are done. Anyway, so I was really, I was surprised Batman. I was surprised Batman showed up there at the end. But anyway, what? So yeah, and then just about Mass Effect, right? I'll keep this relatively short, because otherwise I can go on for days and days, and we got a hard out time today. Well, some of us do. And so as far as that goes, I really am enjoying the game. For anybody who picks that game up, because MC Fixer was the one who hopped in there and he was talking about it. He was like, "I hate to be that guy, but this game still looks old," and that's right. This game is not going to look like a game that is designed for the Xbox Series X or the PS5 next gen. You're not going to get that. This game was designed so that Mass Effect 1 looks like Mass Effect 3 in the best way, because what BioWare was trying to do with this game was trying to make it so that way you could play the trilogy again on new consoles without having to go into backwards compatibility or having to find it and do all this other stuff. So they made the game, so they did a lot of, so Mass Effect 1 got a big facelift and going from what it looked like to now looking like, a Mass Effect 3, which, like I said, is in the best possible way I can say that. And then with that, it was just like doing bug fixes and optimizing certain things, because they quote modernized it. They didn't remaster it, they modernized it. So I was like, okay, that works. That makes sense in this regard. But as far as I am, like Mass Effect 1, I played it for about 9 hours. I'm about just shy of a third of the way into it. Like I got my crew. So I got my entire crew, and so like now I'm gonna be heading to like the 2 other planets that you like really go to and start messing around with. But yeah, like so far I've really been enjoying it. I've only had one issue that happened where I just kind of like broke the game, because in that game, in Mass Effect 1, there's no reloading. It's all like your guns cool down. So you shoot, your gun will overheat, it'll cool down. My dumb brain still is wired for like Call of Duty and every other shooter where there's a reload function. And reload, aka X, on the Xbox controller, is grenade. So I was saving Talizora Von Ross. I forget what her last name is in this game, but anyway, Talizora, aka you're the Quarian. I was saving her. We was down to the last guy. I was like running up to him, and I went to reload the gun, and instead I whipped a grenade out in front, and it hit the thing, blew it up, killed him and me, and Tally. And so I got the big critical fail thing, but Tally went on to her cutscene line about like, "Hey, who are you?" And I was like, "Uh-oh."
She's just in denial.
And then I hit I hit A to reload it, and it just like it was just like frozen. It was just like it went to the cutscene where it would have been like me and the other 2 people with me, and then Tally, but we weren't like locked in at any particular like camera angle, and I couldn't do anything, couldn't move. Like I paused, I could pull up the pause menu, but I couldn't move anything in the pause menu. So I was like, "Huh, well, let's try this." And then I closed out the game, fired it back up, and everything worked. So I was like, "All right,
Okay.
there's one goof, no big deal."
So there is an autosave function.
Yeah, there is an autosave. Autosave was in the original one. It was just garbage. There would be times where you would start. That was one of the things that the community raised subs for the first time around, where it was like a sub goal, and I would do a Mass Effect 1 run with only using autosaves, and they hit it, and I never was able to actually do it with the old one, and so I'm doing it with this one now. So I'm running it Paragon FNHPaul, Adept, so essentially like I just have full biotic powers, so like Space Wizard powers, essentially, just to make it make sense for everybody who doesn't know. And then running it on Insanity. There it is. Insanity difficulty, and it's just everything was fine until it wasn't. I was cruising along, and then I just hit like one mission where I just got like bodied like 5 times, and I was like, there it is. There's the difficulty. I remember now. Now I remember this. But I will say they have made the combat so much better. So much better. Like using the powers is still kind of annoying in this one. Like it's not as intuitive as it will become in 2 and 3. In this one, it's more of like you kind of want to pause the game almost, kind of like you're doing like a Fallout or a Bethesda game where you kind of have like the VAT system. So it's like you can kind of like pause it and you can aim and like tell your guy to like you can have one guy to like hit this person and then while it's still paused you can turn and have the other guy hit another person, and then you can map your powers to a button, but at the same time like there's no like cooldown on the screen that you can see. You got to pull up the window to see all the powers again. Okay. So you and then you can do the same thing to aim it and shoot it. But I will say one of the nice things, or one of the kind of doesn't really make sense, is that you can use all your powers. Like you can just keep using different powers at the same time. Like you can shoot one power off and then immediately shoot another power off, versus in 2 and 3 where it's like you use an ability, all your abilities have cooldowns. Because like that would make sense. Like if I just did some like biotic thing, it's like, all right, well you gotta let everything reset and then boom. Unless you have like grenades or med kits or yada yada. But so far, like the combat they've improved, they've given a big facelift to the game. The load times are fucking nothing. Like you used to ride elevators in that game. Like that was always the meme. Like you'd be stuck in an elevator for like 10 minutes. That's over an exaggeration, but it would be like a solid like minute and a half of you just riding in an elevator every single time you needed to traverse the game. Now it's like you can leave before the conversations that you're having are done. And it's so nice. So nice. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. I can't wait to get into it more, and I can't wait to actually hear what you think about it, Oliver. I'm very.
I was gonna say, like, Adam, are you a Mass Effect guy? Like,
never played it. The only intro I got to Mass Effect was actually on one of your past podcasts when Oliver, you were saying you have never played it and you wanted like the most bare bones like explanation of it. I saw one person play it on stream recently, and my brain did that thing where I forget everything and I don't remember what was happening. Like that's exactly what happened. Yeah, like just hearing Paul talk about it, it sounds like a really cool game. It's
a space soap opera. There's a reason why I title my streams that way. It is a space goddamn soap opera. There is like that story. It can be very that story can be very good, especially in 2 and 3. Can be very. I played those ones the most. There's like there's a really solid, and like it can grip you if you have the conversations and you lean into it. And then like the combat is just something fun to do with it if you let it. Because there's sometimes where you can just be like, I don't care, just whatever, don't care about what you're telling me right now.
I think like the thing that has got me hyped for it more than anything was I saw there was a clip posted on Reddit the other day that I saw that was a really shitty Fox News piece from 2008 when the game came out about like how like this game is forcing you to have sex with aliens and how gross it was. And one of the pundits who was like, video games are the devil, like they are the worst thing ever. They described Mass Effect as Luke Skywalker meets Debbie Does Dallas. And as far as I'm concerned, I have never been more excited to play a video game in my life. Like, bring it on. Like give me sexy Star Wars. I'm into it. Like, let's fucking go. Yeah, I think because I had as far as I remember, so I've said before, I never really got massively into video games until this previous generation, like PS4 onwards. Like I always had a console, but I never really played many games. And I remember buying Mass Effect 1 for the Xbox 360 when I had it. And I think I literally played about 15 to 20 minutes of it and went, can't be bothered. I'm going to go out instead. And so I've got no memory of it whatsoever. And those games are sort of have got that kind of mythic quality to them that everyone who puts the time into those games says how much they love them. But at this stage, the only thing I really know and have retained about the Mass Effect series is that there's a character called Garrus. Everyone loves them. And the ending of Mass Effect 3 isn't very good. That's the only 2 bits of information I know about Mass Effect, and so I am so excited to actually play through.
I will say one thing about the ending of Mass Effect 3. There was no way they were going to satisfy everybody. They were given a damn near impossible feat because the game is an almond. is the best way I've ever heard it described. Is it's an almond where it's everybody starts off at one point and then everything branches out to where like you can make your own choices, and then BioWare has to find a way to make all those choices hit back to a certain point. Like
Agree.
so they have to try to make it get back to a certain point to end, because obviously you can't have 75 different endings to a game. Like you can, but then it's like, well, how do these work? How do these, and now especially with Mass Effect 4 coming out, like, okay, well, which one of these is like going to be the quote canon ending? Because then you're going to have people who are like, oh, well, that's not how my ending went. My ending ended like this, where Shepard grew old and fat and blah, blah, blah. But however, I will say, Garrus, yes, Garrus is a ride or die mother lover. Like, fucking, he's a homie. He's there in every game. He's there for you. He's a boss. And he's like, he has dope ass lines, and just the entire time he's just Shepard. He's like just sniper rifle ready to shoot at somebody right in the face for you, no questions asked.
I've said to you before, Paul. I'm a massive Fallout fan, and I've never played a Fallout game where I've loved the ending of the actual story, because it's impossible to. But in games like that, it's the journey. It's not the destination. Like I love Fallout for like the first like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas. I love those games for the first 97% of their story, and the last 3% I'm like, it's not gonna end in the way I want it to end. It's just gonna end. Like, and if Mass Effect was the same, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that was just like you, and like the funny thing is though, like the games leading up to it can end so very differently, or the journey, I guess, can it have very different, just depending on like what you do from 1, and really more importantly, what happens in 2 will fuck with 3 so much, and will change so many little things that you don't think about. There's a character that is in 1 that is in your party, Rex. He's a Krogan. There's just a big kind of like, the way I heard it described, or the way I think I described it, was somebody said he looked like somebody from Halo, and I was like, yeah, he kind of looks like if a grunt and an elite became one thing, that would be him. It's just this big tank person, and the way he transitions into 2 and then transitions into 3, if he makes it that far, is fucking wild. Because if you're a renegade but he stays alive, holy shit, does Mass Effect 3 have a massive, like, oh shit moment in it that I didn't know about until I played it on stream, and it just randomly happened. And I ain't even going to talk about it.
That's one thing that I always found crazy. Is Mass Effect one of the only games that does that? Like, I haven't heard of any other games that takes, like, if your character dies in 1, or if somebody or something, they don't make it to 2. Like, is that...
I feel like there's other games that might have done it, but I feel like Mass Effect has done it. I don't want to say the best, because obviously I don't know. But they have done it so well that the other ones pale in comparison, in my humble opinion.
I think the only game I can think of off the top of my head for that is Telltale's Walking Dead. But that's on such a smaller scale.
Like Telltale's has it. I think The Witcher had something to the extent of it. Like if you killed somebody, they would. But like for that one, it would be more like there would be a line or something, but it wouldn't actually have like that much of an effect. But like in this one, like Rex can die in the first game. That's game 13 years old. I don't care if it just came out again. Like Rex can die in the first game, and if he dies in the first game, that is going to have massive effects in the second and especially in the third game.
Because you could say it has a mass effect to the
exactly
later.
Just a mass effect. Okay, that's all right. I'm done talking about Mass Effect. Otherwise, you got dinner you got to get to, and I would hate. I don't want.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to like starting those games. Like one final question, like because I'm going to be starting them on Monday. Like the other thing I know about Mass Effect is that there is kind of a sort of like binary good guy or bad guy, like renegade or paladin. Paragon. What would you recommend for like a first time player, like someone jumping into Mass Effect for the first time? Shall I go like ultra good guy, or shall I just go like fuck you guys, I'm going full fucking evil?
It really depends on what you want to do. If you want to go Paragon, you want to have the blue lights. by all means, like the first one, it does matter. Like the first one, obviously, it does matter because really, what it does when you go Paragon or Renegade in the first game, it gives you certain dialogue options. So whenever you're talking to some people, you'll have like your standard options on the right side to kind of go like top, middle, bottom, right? So like Paragon, normal, or like Paragon, neutral, and Renegade. It's kind of how it goes for the most part. Sometimes like if you're asking questions, it'll be whatever. But every now and again, you'll have like a separate dialogue option on the other side where it'll go blue and red. So like if you have enough Paragon points or like enough like goodwill essentially built up, you can choose this dialogue option, which will then give you like something different than you would have gotten if you'd gone the other way. Or you could go red, which is the same thing. If you have done enough, if you've been an asshole enough in the game, then it will give you another dialogue option. And for somebody just jumping in for the very first time, it kind of depends on how you want to run it. Like it really just, it's kind of like building a D&D character. It's just, you know, there's nothing saying you have to be a good or a bad guy. But, you know, if you want to, if you're just like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm a hard-nosed cop and I'll do whatever it needs to do to get the job done. Then go Renegade. But if you're like, if you want to be like the savior of the galaxy, you're here to save everyone that you possibly can from the threat of the Reapers, then go Paragon with it. I would say, like, Paragon is typically the easier, I would say the easier one, the less morally compromising one that you'll have to do. Because I won't lie, some of those Renegade options, like
I can't be an arsehole in video games.
Like,
as hard as I try.
Do we damn an entire species, or?
I'm glad Oliver said this because I was gonna ask, what do you guys typically choose when you're playing those types of games? Like, I am like always on the like spectrum of light. Let's say if it's like darkness versus lightness, that's where I am. I can never be mean. I always try to do the right thing in games as in life. But like, where do you guys like fall on that spectrum? Also,
I'm with you. Like I find it so hard to be an arsehole in video games because I'm like, oh shit, what if this person remembers? And like the only game that I've managed to actually go from like start to finish being kind of a dickhead to everyone I saw was the first Red Dead Redemption. Like for some reason, like I like, so full disclosure, I could never get into Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a whole topic for a different show, I'm sure. I didn't love that game. Red Dead Redemption 1 is one of my all-time favorites, but for some reason when I started playing that game, like I looked at John Marston, I was like, this motherfucker's just an arsehole. Like he's just gonna be rotten to everyone he sees. And like the few times that game like gave you like an option to choose things, like I was like, yeah, like one of the ones I always like remember is I was riding into town and like I bumped into a couple of nuns and the nuns were like, look, this guy has stolen some of our stuff, can you get it for us? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I went and tracked him down, and I caught the guy who did it, and I got back the gold that this guy had stolen, and I ran back to the nuns, and they were like, oh, can we have our gold? And I was like, nah. And then I just shot the nuns, and I was like, sweet, I'm going to carry on with my life. I've got their gold now. And it was one of my, like, because it felt like such a pure moment in gaming, but like every other game, like...
it was pure, there was a level of purity to it. To it.
I feel like
pure evil.
You know
when
you start saying
it never said pure good. That's like the whole like, oh yeah, a saying has to be pure of heart. You didn't say anything about pure good.
You know when you start saying something and you realize you've not actually run it through your internal filter to check if it's okay to say out loud. Yeah, I shot those nuns. I shot them good, and I stole everything they had.
Okay.
Other than that, I find it very hard to be an arsehole in video games. Like Fallout, I always ended up going good. Like, I remember like first time playing like Fallout 3, and like when you get the option to drop the nuke or detonate the nuke in Megaton, and like I remember like every time I played Fallout 3, I could never bring myself to do it. And I remember once I kind of like save scummed just to see what would happen. And you stand at the top of, I think it's like Tenpenny Tower or something. I can't remember what it's called, but
Yeah.
you look out
Something like
towards Megaton and you see it blow up and you see the mushroom cloud erupt. And like I remember just feeling dreadful and just instantly reloading and was like, look, I'm never doing that again. Never doing that again. That's awful. Like I can't be an arsehole in video games. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, Adam, what have you been playing recently, my man?
So for me, I the way that I typically do things is I'll have one story game that I'll play, and then I'll do a bunch of like side games. So for some reason lately, my main story game has kind of taken a back seat, but that's Horizon Zero Dawn that I really, really want to get back into. I've never played it before. Super like I love the aesthetic of the game, I love the look of the game, and I love the story so far. But I've only played like 3 streams worth, so like 9 hours, give or take, if even that much of the game. I've also just started doing some Mario 64 speedruns, which is a lot of fun, but also a pain in the butt. And that kind of preceded by Astro's Playroom speedruns, which I've been doing as well. So if you know, Astro's Playroom is the PS5
VR
game,
one.
the little
Oh,
robot.
okay.
So the homage to Sony or PlayStation specifically, and then they embedded speedruns, so individual levels that are for an average person, I would say about a minute long each. But when you're speedrunning it, you're trying to cut every corner you can, and I know that so there's 8 individual levels, and my overall time is 5 minutes and something. I don't know what my rank in the world right now is in and around 70. I'm top 100 for sure. I know that my best rank was top 50s. So I was like
That's
in that
incredible.
ranking. Yeah,
I
it's a
wasn't
lot
ready
of
for
fun.
that. I was not ready. I was like, okay, he's in the world. Like that's a lot of like there's a lot of. I'm gonna stop myself from saying something stupid. There's a lot of sweaty people who I know try real hard at stuff. I almost used another
Yeah.
term, but I'm glad I didn't. Just yeah, good lord. I mean, cheers to that, man. Goddamn.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
when you I was like, oh, he's gonna say like, oh, he's in like I'm like number 800, and I was gonna be like, oh, that's awesome, that's really cool, well done, like in the top 1,000, that's really awesome. Top 70, that's insane, that's
Yeah.
some talent, like.
And this all started over a stupid goof with Braden. So if you guys know who Braden K007 is, he's a good friend. And we just started riffing on each other, like playing the game at about the same time. Like we got the PS5 around the same time. And he decided to do some speed runs. I decided to do some speed runs just for fun, like never thinking it would get anywhere. And then it became this rivalry where, hey, I can do this faster than you can. And then he would like kind of come into my streams and do the exact same thing. Like, oh no, you got to do this. Or like, you suck, get better type of thing, you know, like.
All right. Who's Red and who's Gary? Who's, who's who on this one?
Honestly, no clue. We're both assholes to one another.
Oh, so you're both assholes. You're both the grandpa who can't remember his grandkid's name. You're that guy. Can't even remember. What's your I don't remember. What's your name? Assholes?
It's our on-stream persona. So like we have this thing where we go into each other's streams and just royally bag on one another. Like it's just like it's really bad. And then off stream, like we'll be talking in Discord and we'll just be like, hey, this is how you can get faster in this one spot.
I cherish our friendship. And
then so Braden's best score was actually top 25.
God damn.
Ooh.
Yeah, like he made it to top 25. And so that was before one of the latest speed boosts. So basically, if you don't know anything about speedrunning is not only about finding the quickest line, but also finding out how to break the game and make it work in your favor. So these are things that I think even the developers hadn't thought about. And the reason I say that is one of the great things about Astro speedruns is there's this weird glitch where if you punch right before you jump off a ledge or like you fall off a ledge, you can do a double boost. And so you boost, you do a spin, and then you boost again, and it'll give you like this huge distance. And so this is how crazy the speedrunning community is. The developers fixed the patch. So there was that glitch. They fixed the glitch, right? And speedrunners are like, are you crazy? This is how we were getting these runs. This is how we were getting the speeds. The top 10s are locked in. There's no way in hell that these are moving ever again. And the developers are like, you know what? You're right. So they brought it back. So they brought back the glitch, but they only brought it back on the network speedruns. So there's like the main game, which is a beautiful like homage to Sony, and then there's the speedruns. So they only brought it back on the speedruns. So the network speedruns are still glitchable. And it's a beautiful little like thing like this.
Which
That's
really
amazing.
does make sense, because I would be fucking fuming if I was like rank 11 and I'm like just clawing my way up there, and all of a sudden this patch happens.
Yeah.
Like, I literally can't now. You have cut me off at the knees, you son of a bitch.
So, like I'm like always been a big fan of like GDQ, like games done quick, like like I've never really watched like the live streams of them, but like I've watched so many of their like YouTubes of like Sonic speed runs are always insane. Like, I mean, we've all seen like 1,000 Mario speed runs, which just get absolutely ridiculous.
I have to talk about that too, by the way.
Absolutely, I can't wait. Like, but yeah, like I've never really had the sort of patience with a singular game like to speedrun it myself. Like the only games I've come close to doing were like Resident Evil 3, the remake of that. Like I ended up doing a couple of like sort of, I wouldn't say speed runs, but maybe like speed walks through them sort of thing. Like just to kind of like, I managed to like get like my playthrough of that down to like about an hour and a half, like maybe no less than that, maybe like an hour and 10 minutes or so. And it was like, that's awesome. It was so much fun doing them. But like, man, the like finding those bugs and finding the ways to like break those games, and like I know I think it was only like last year that someone had found like a new glitch in, it was either like Wind Waker or Ocarina, like one of the big like Zelda games that are speedrun a lot. There was only like recently a new glitch found that like could cut like 10-15 minutes off like a full like run of those games, and like it's insane. It takes so much talent and skill and just I love it. I mean,
I never thought that I would be a speedrunner for any games whatsoever. I love story-based games, so like listening to the story and having like an interactive movie happen, to me that was always like a beautiful thing. So that's like, that really influenced the types of games that I played as a kid, and even to this day. This was so like haphazardly happened to me that it was just like luck that I became friends with this one streamer on Twitch that started doing these speedruns, came into my stream and said, oh man, I do this faster than you. And as a bit, literally, I didn't think it was going to go further than that one stream. I was like, all right, well, give me 2 seconds. I'll see if I can beat your score. I added him on PlayStation, and then I like beat his time on stream. I didn't think it was going to go any further than that. But of course, you start one speed run, and then everybody expects you to do another one.
So
those are the best bits, like for streaming though. Like those kind of
Yeah.
like off the cuff moments that you don't expect to like take hold. They're the best times. They're the best ones.
For sure. And so I got into the top 100 overall time. So none of my like individual scores are like crazy good, but overall my time is good enough to be in top 100. I mean, my best score outside of that is I'm 120 or 30th or something. I mean, I know it's something, but it's not like in the top 100.
Hey,
Still
you gotta treat that like the Iron Man,
Yeah.
the Iron Man race. You know, it's like it's not about coming in first place in the run. It's not about coming in first place in the swim or even on the bike. You gotta get all together. It's a cumulative score.
I want to go on because Astro's Playroom is incredible. Such good fun. I did those speed runs because I mean I'm a massive trophy whore when it comes to like these sort of games, and I needed that platinum as soon as I played it, and I got it. And I love those speed runs. After this, I'm gonna go and have to like boot that game back open and like see where I am on that leaderboard
Yeah.
because I mean I did it enough to get the trophy. I am not in the top 10,000. I can tell you that much already.
So- So the trophy is 7 minutes for the speedruns. So as long as you can get everything in 7 minutes, which is approximately 50 seconds averaged out, 45 to 50 seconds. Some of my speedruns are like 30 seconds. Just to kind of like, like some of my levels are 30
30 seconds, no
Yeah.
big deal.
Sorry, over there.
Yeah, if you just look at the scoreboard right there.
But yeah, no, like it's and the fastest speed run right now, and I know the person who has like the #1 speed overall. He's at 4 minutes and he just beat the 420 barrier. He wanted to get 420.69 and he overshot 420.69 and he got so pissed that he's like, I don't even want to be in 420 anymore. So he got to 419. He's really like, if you look at his speed runs, they are absolutely incredible. So just to give you kind of an idea, I've done through all of the runs about 15 to 20,000 times. So like all 8 levels divided how you will, about 2,000-3,000 per run, depending on which ones I prefer or I'm worst at or whatever. I've done it about 20,000 times. On one level, he's at 15,000.
Ooh.
So it is a grind.
Now, question, just real quick. Astro's Playroom. That's the one. That's what it's called, right? Did that come with the console?
Yes, it's free. Everyone who got a PS5 has the game.
Here's the thing, right? That reminds me a lot of people who like got real good at Wii Sports because they weren't allowed to buy another game because like we have games at home, you don't need this, and so it's just like you kept playing. Like that's the only reason I played a game. God, what was it called? Blue Dragon, which is a JRPG from back in the 360 era. You know why I played that game? Because it came with the console. That and Lego Indiana Jones. I got real good at those games.
Same reason I played the racing game that came with the PS2.
Gran Turismo?
Midnight Club?
Yeah, Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo.
Would have been. I don't even know what
Midnight Club
was
Xbox. Midnight Club was Xbox.
I mean, it's
yeah.
Okay, we gotta move. We gotta move because you have.
Sure.
Well, no.
We got about half hour.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
thought
gonna
you had
just
like
finish
10
one
minutes. I
quick
was like,
thing.
oh shit, we still got a whole other section to get through.
So I'm gonna finish one quick thing. From that, I ran into Mario 64 because my brother started speedrunning Mario 64. He's actually in the top 500 of Mario 64 speedruns right now. His time is just about 22 minutes to finish 16 stars. So there's different levels of Mario speedruns. And just to kind of give you an idea, I have a decent time and I'm at 41 minutes. So like that's my brother. Like my brother started doing that. He got Brayden to start doing it, who they both got on my case to start speedrunning Mario 64. That's how it started. I'm learning. I'm still early and new at it. We'll see how far that goes.
I'm not even gonna get into it. I watched you doing it. And I was like, I'd lose my fucking mind. I would lose my mind. You doing the bridge jump. The bridge jump. You were just like, I'm like, I'm done. I'm over it. Like I get stuck in a game at that point. I'm like, all right, cool, done. Playing a new game. Moving on. Next song.
Paul, Adam, I don't know if you've seen it, like Mario 64. I'll have to find out. Send it to you guys. Anyone listening, I urge you to go and check this out. I'll even send the link to Paul to throw it in the YouTube description. There was a Mario 64 speedrun at last year's Games Done Quick event, blindfolded.
Okay. Yes.
And it was insane. Absolutely incredible.
What?
Guy was like, not only was the guy blindfolded, but he had his TV behind him to prove that he wasn't looking like in any way at the screen. And based on like,
I'll do one
like,
better.
Hmm?
Halfway through the run, he made a mistake,
Yeah,
and he had to correct himself.
it's insane. It is absolutely insane. It's all done on like audio cues, and like occasionally like he will like purposefully get hit by an enemy so he knows exactly where in the game he is. It is so insane to watch because it is, I mean, like it's not him doing the commentary for it. He is silent throughout because he has to put in the utmost concentration. But it is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
What?
Yeah,
How?
We say speed run like, you know, you think like as fast as you can, but this is more like blindfolded as fast as you can.
That's the thing.
Like,
He
it's
still
not
probably
like,
did it faster than I could, not like without anything. Like,
Oh,
I
well,
think he
yeah,
did
he's
it in
not like
an hour or something.
Yeah, he's not like top of the leaderboard, like doing it blindfolded. That would be insane. But,
Yeah.
like, the fact that he can.
Okay, my bad. My brain registered what you just said backwards. I thought you meant, oh well, he's not at the top of the blindfolded leaderboard. I'm like, wait, there's a leaderboard, which would mean that more than him did it. Dude, that's fucking
actually,
crazy. That's crazy.
There is a leaderboard.
Shut up!
For
You
blindfolded
shut
as
up!
well.
It better only have him. I swear to God. I swear to God. If you tell me there's like a dozen or more SOBs who spent so much time playing Mario 64 that they could play it blindfolded.
Yeah.
All right,
There is.
Oliver, talk to me about Returnal. Talk to me about Returnal.
Fuck, man, Returnal. Returnal has.
All right, and we're
destroyed my life.
moving on.
Okay,
No, I'm just
so
go talk about it.
2 weeks ago, our last episode with the phenomenal GG,
Mhm.
like I said, like I've been playing Returnal, but I've literally only played it for about an hour.
Mhm.
Like I'd literally played it for about an hour before the podcast started, and like I came on that and I said, I think this game might be something special. I am too early to tell, but the first hour / 90 minutes or however much I'd done, I was like, this game's good. This game isn't good. It is one of the greatest games I've ever played. It is. Now this is full on recency bias. Like, so might sound like a little hyperbolic.
Mm-hmm.
I completed it yesterday. Well, I rolled credits on it 2 days ago, and I'm now like playing through and like I want to platinum it. Like, but there's a lot of RNG involved with Returnal, like where it's a like rogue-like game. But so I checked today, like before we started recording, and even this number isn't accurate because after I checked, I carried on playing for about 3 or 4 hours today. I'm currently at 66 hours on this game. In 2 weeks, I have done nothing but play this game. It is perfect. It is so difficult. It is so hard. It is so unforgiving. And yet when it hits and when it latches on, it is just brilliant. It is just it's like seeing the Matrix. It's like you kind of transcend, like, and you know exactly what's coming from where, and you just go into this like different state while playing it. So to kind of catch up, like when I talked about it a couple weeks ago, I was only in like the first area. Again, had only played it for an hour. The way it works is that there are overall, and like, so very, very, no spoilers, but like kind of like area, I guess, like mild spoilers for Returnal. Like there's 6 biomes, basically.
Yeah, there's like yeah.
And so each biome is like, it's a different like setting. If you die at any point, you go back to level 1. To the start of the game, to the starting. You don't bring back any of your upgrades bar like a sword that you pick up. Like that's like kind of the only thing you bring back through like every one of your playthroughs. you don't bring back any of your experience, you don't bring back any of your weapons, you don't bring back any. You go back to Area 1, Level 1, start again. And it is so difficult because with things like Bloodborne, or Dark Souls, you can at least over-level. You can't do that on Returnal. Because again, if you die, you go back to the start. But when it clicks, and when you get on a good run, and you pick up like a couple of like decent items. So for me, it was a case of, I was like, for like an entire week, I was banging my head against the brick wall on the second biome. I couldn't get past it. Could not figure it out whatsoever. When I did finally get on a run where I could figure it out, in a single run, I got past not only the second, but the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and got right to the last biome on a single run. And I have never felt more powerful, more I've never felt so good in a video game. And then I died. I started back from the start. And it was incredibly frustrating, but I did it again. And it's like now I've got to the point where I've rolled credits, I've completed the game. I'm now like doing like some cleanup and getting like some final things I need to get for like the platinum trophy on it. But I feel like everyone needs to play this game. It's just every weapon in it feels so good. The story is like, it's sort of like it's space Groundhog Day with some like alien, like H.R. Geiger-esque like monsters and architecture thrown in. It's a bit Bloodborne-y. Like there is that kind of like, it's not like it's very lore based. It's very like there is a story that you can sort of follow along with, but you need to dig deep to find out exactly what it's about. There's elements of PT thrown in there. Like there's segments of the game where like again, this is very early like spoilers for Returnal, but again, apologies, very early Returnal spoilers. On this alien planet, you come across a very human Earth-like house, and you look at it and you go, "That's my house." How like your character? It doesn't dig into your actual psyche and
I was gonna say
map out
that'd
your
be
own house.
wild. That'd be real wild.
That would be insane.
I'd
But
rather
like,
it
it's your
not.
character. But you find this house, and it's your character's house, and she comments on it, and you walk into it, and it switches to this first person view, and the house is only one L-shaped corridor, so it's PT, and it is terrifying. Just there is nothing I can say about this game without like just praising it endlessly.
So this is a PlayStation exclusive, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure. Because I was like, if this game is on Xbox, you are hyping this thing up way too much for me not to at least dabble.
It's a PS5 exclusive. It's by Housemarque, so they're not owned by PlayStation, so could potentially see it on PC at some point, but I think Sony really want it locked down because
if it's anything, it's going to be at least
game.
A year. At least a
Absolutely.
year. That's typically how that stuff
but
goes. Like I don't know if it said time exclusive or if it is just if it's a pure exclusive.
It's just incredible. It's just incredible from start to finish. It's it just, everything about it just feels so good, and like it's one of those games that has totally just kind of like penetrated my psyche a little bit. That like, you know, those games you play when you aren't playing them, all you can think about is what you're going to do the next time you play it. Like, here's what I'm going to do with my next life. I'm going to go here and then there, and then I'm going to figure out this bit, and then I'm going to. That's exactly like every waking moment. I'm thinking like, when can I play Returnal again? When did I? Like I said, I've got a hard out at about 8 o'clock. It ain't my anniversary. C left me 2 weeks ago because of Returnal. Like I just want to go play Return. That's all I'm doing. Like, but it's incredible. It's a special game that.
Well, if you got a PS5, it sounds like you guys need to pick that up, or at least I might have to start watching somebody playing it at the very least. Okay. Now that we gotta start spacing we gotta start getting our stuff down a bit more because we just talked like an hour on on the games we were playing, and that segment. What do we have in Slaughter? 15 minutes. We need to stop lying on our spreadsheets or on our show notes. All right, so our burning question of the show today is something I thought was kind of cool. It just mostly because I made it up. What is the music that made you? Now, the reason why I asked this question is because music was something I still love to this day. But mostly it's because Gam3rAtom, my man, I was in one of your streams, and this was, I think you were playing out. Either you were playing Outriders or I was playing Outriders. I can't remember what was it now. You were playing
You
something.
were, 'cause I never played it.
Yeah. So I was playing Outriders. And I just had you on in the background because I was just vibing out that day. And you're sitting there and you're talking, and you pulled out the guitar, and I'm being an asshole saying play Wonderwall and all that other stuff. And, people are putting requests in for music, and then you start talking about your family's history in music. And then
Yeah.
you put on this really, I don't want to say old song, but this older song done by, if I remember correctly, it was your granddad? Or it was your uncle for your. It was like. Yeah,
so my dad wrote a song for my cousin before he was born, about 20 years ago. So he made this song called Bébé. It's called Baby in French. And he basically did it for one of my oldest cousins on his side. So when my dad was 18, basically, he wrote this song for his sister who was pregnant with her first child. And ironically enough, my brother did the same thing for my sister when she was pregnant with her first child. And it is a song on their album called Tonton, which means uncle in French. Um, so it's like, yeah, music is a huge thing in my life, from the point of like my grandparents meeting to my aunt being a recording artist back in France, to my dad and my mom having like both like ingrained music into them. Like my dad was a musician. He was he wasn't a musician by trade. He was a pianist and singer by passion and by hobby. My mom playing guitar and singing. My sister being, out of the siblings, the best singer, who doesn't sing that much anymore. My brother, who's a professional recording artist, and me, who just absolutely loves music and tries to ingrain myself into it whenever I can. My cousins, wherever they are in the world, playing music, recording videos on YouTube, being on TV shows and stuff like in France and things like that. Like music is like literally ingrained in my life. It from like the earliest age, and now to my unborn child who is almost on the way, and I have a story with music already. Like things like that. Like that's how like important and impactful music has been for me, at least. I know I said like I'm most likely, because Oliver needs to probably head out soon. I'm not going to go through the entire history, but this is just such a beautiful story that I do have to
as with
say it.
with all respect to Oliver, Ali, I'm gonna just ask that you keep your box up so that way the layout stays the same. But if you need to bounce, like, you can just kill your camera and deafen yourself, like if you need to. Because I got a feeling like this is gonna, like, I kind of want Oliver to start on his so that way we can talk about his stuff. But I really do want to get into like.
I'll see if I can get like a Probably Oliver scarecrow put together. Like,
I mean, if you want to, I am not gonna say no to that. If you just want to put, I just need now. See, now I just want you to like print out your face and just tape it to the back of the chair, and just like a scowl, just like.
just take a screenshot, put like open OBS, put a virtual cam on, and that's all we'll see. Like just like a.
I mean,
Yeah,
I do
like-
have a photo of you that I could put up there. I just meant in the Discord here, just so that way the boxes don't get all jacked up.
I'll put a like a. Well, I'll even like record like a couple of voice clips of like me going like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
ah,
Well, I don't agree with that at all. You
But yeah,
know.
just like the most like just the start of it, basically to kind of explain like how ingrained music is with my family. My grandfather, back in the day before he met my grandmother, was a basketball coach, and he saw my grandmother, who was who was in a choir, and she loved music, and for just the chance at meeting my grandmother, started a female choir to make sure that she would become a part of it, so he had a chance to talk to her.
I'm no. What Netflix movie did you just
yeah,
rip
that's
off the
that's
plot
fucking
from?
story.
That is some
That's,
bullshit if I have ever heard it.
Where?
It is too adorable. I don't like this. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
that is some straight up, like, okay. It's like, oh man, I really like this girl. Like, I know what I'll do. And like fashions this whole plot line to get, like, god damn. That is all right.
Like that's where music, at least to my knowledge, there might be more ingrained in it, but like further down depending on like the generations that you ask. But that's where music starts for me. It's my grandparents. It's knowing that like my grandfather randomly off the cuff will be having a full family conversation. I'm talking like family conversation. I have like 6 uncles and aunts. I have and we'll like just be like talking one over another. And my grandfather used to start just singing randomly, and just like everybody would shut up. We would be 30 in a room, because like that's just 6 uncles and aunts. Like my mom has 5 siblings, right? Like, so that's what I mean. Like there's 3 girls, 3 boys, and they all have kids. We're 30 people in a room, right? Like I'm on the low end of like the cousins. Like I'm young compared to some of my cousins. We're 30 people in a room talking, and we are a loud family. By the way, I'm one of the quiet ones in my family. I'm just going to throw that out there. And my grandfather would start just humming this melody, and everyone would shut up. And like that's how like important and ingrained music is in us. Like we are so respectful of all different types of music, and we are so respectful of like my grandfather, who was the patriarch of the family and all that, like, and my grandmother, who she herself would like sing and do these things. Just like it's like totally like respect for music, and you understand that music is a sacred thing, and like it's ingrained in everything. So
That is, god damn. I just want to end it now. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't even want to talk about my music anymore.
yeah,
Like,
my story is like, yeah, like my dad liked the Beatles. That's kind of like my
like,
introduction.
damn,
to
I
music,
should
like,
not have
yeah!
started with you. I should not have started with you. That is, oh, damn it, man. That is, there would be nothing that would shut my family up like that. Like, it would take a gunshot, and even then, I don't think they would shut up. Like,
I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of stories that revolve around music.
all right, well, at least we got, all right, so now Gam3rAtom's our second part 2 that we need to have. First is Suburbanite Slob, where we just talk about Marvel comic books, and then Gam3rAtom talking just, we ain't even talking games. That's just gonna be, ooh. No, that might get, that, I gotta check if that name's already taken, but like just calling it something else other than Nostalgia on the Rocks. It's like Nostalgia After Dark, but then something tells me that might already be a thing, / something a bit more saucy. Regardless, either that or we just called it the second round. Like, it'll be Nostalgia on the Rocks, the second round. And I just put that, like, really haphazardly underneath this logo that was so lovingly made for us by just amazing individuals.
But I want to know your stories, because like to me it's always like I really do want to know. I love music, and I love to know people's stories with music.
All right, probably Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, for me, music's like, I mean, I've kind of grown up being a bit of like a music snob, like, or just always have been, like, or like music was kind of like my first big passion. Like, I've got like zero rhythm myself. Like, I can't play anything. Like, I've owned guitars before, and like, there's very basics, like if you want anyone to play Smoke on the Water, I'm your guy. Like I can play Smoke on the Water till the cows come home. But like no, I like never been like a big like on the technical side, but I just yeah, like music was like my first big passion. For me, it was just yeah, like I mean, I joked about it a minute ago, but it was like my dad had like the similar sort of thing. Like he can't play anything, he can't carry a tune to save his life, but like
carry a tune in a bucket.
Yeah, like, but like he was a big like Beatles fan. He was a big Zeppelin fan. Like he always tells me that like he saw Black Sabbath with Ozzy Osbourne at the Royal Albert Hall, like which was cool as fuck. Like, and then like from my mum, like my mum was like so I got like that kind of like that sort of like rock music from my dad, and then from my mum, like I got a lot of like soul and Motown. Like she loved like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, and I say she did. I mean she still does. Like she's like Stevie Wonder, like that sort of stuff. And then I was kind of lucky enough, like my sister, who's sort of like 5 or 6 years older than me. So growing up when I was like a young teenager, like my sister was like listening to like Radiohead and Blur and stuff like that, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting. This is like pop music isn't doing it for me, but this sort of like kind of like ugly guitar music's really doing
Ugly
it for me."
guitar music.
Yeah,
I like that term.
yeah, I just dug it. Like, and so it was like from like a young age, like kind of when I was like 13, 14, like that's I kind of got big into the sort of like skate punk scene, like thanks to like Tony Hawk's games and
Yeah.
stuff, and so like started listening to like a lot of like Minor Threat and Suicidal Tendencies and Bad Religion. Was like, yeah, punk music's for me. Like punk music fucking kicks. Like
Yeah.
and like still to this day, like it's kind of that's sort of like what I've, oh yeah, and then like a couple years later after that, like that's kind of like when emo was like really going like heavy, like yeah, like Taking Back Sunday and Brand New and Funeral for a Friend. That was like, oh, these guys like I was like a teenager, so it's like I'm sad all the time and I don't know why. But Funeral for a Friend are all right because they're there for me, and so it was kind of like it was very much like it's not a phase, mom. Like this is who I am. This is who I'll always be. I'm painting my nails black and
God.
but yeah, like for me, like yeah, just sort of like grown up and then like in my 20s, like sort of was like I'm gonna get a record player, like because I'm gonna get into vinyl. And then got into vinyl for a minute, and yeah, it's kind of like music has perforated like sort of everything I've ever done. But I mean, you can't follow Adam's story just there. Like Jesus Christ, like
No, that's a
my
beautiful
God.
thing.
No,
Like,
you can't.
listen, that's a gorgeous like story. I'm not.
Music's just good. Like that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I
music is
just like it. I don't have some like
yeah.
some Netflix special starting over here. Like, goddamn.
Just want to say, Oliver, I don't know if you've ever heard of a band called Billy Talent, but I feel like you would vibe
Yeah.
with them.
I saw Billy Talent in their recording studio. A friend of mine, like back when I was like, it was when they were recording Billy Talent 2, so it would have been 2006. Yeah, it's been 2007ish or so. A friend of mine won tickets to go and watch them play like an intimate gig in their own like recording studio, and it was only like 25 people or so that were there, like and so I got to like see them with only like 20 people sitting around. Billy Talent were fucking awesome. What a band.
They still are. They still are. Man,
Yeah,
The
River,
only time I
River
saw.
Below. Oh, what a song.
Oh yeah.
Try
Yeah,
Honesty.
right?
Oh.
So
love
Try
it.
Honesty was the first song that I listened to knowing it was a rock song. Every other rock song that I'd listened to was like, oh, this is my mom's music, or oh, this is like my uncle's music. Try Honesty, I think 13 when it came out. It was like 2003, something like that. And that was the first song that I listened to on MTV back when it still played music. I know that's the joke everybody loves to make, but this is not a lie. In my basement, in this very house, actually, because I'm at my mom's house right now. Like that's where my setup is. And I remember sitting on the stairs, listening to Try Honesty and being fucking blown away at this new type of music of like this guy screaming top of his lungs with a single guitarist with two different guitar lines and licks, freaking like the bass lick up top and like the oh my god, I just like it is so grungy, it is so raw, it is so beautiful. If you haven't heard the song, Paul,
I haven't. That's why I'm like, I guess I need to look this band up. Like, we're gonna need to, like, I'm gonna have a lot of links in YouTube to put in here. Like, all right, the song they talked about here. It's like I think Avenged threw up the speedrunner one along with the the Uncle song. The was it Tutu or
Tonton.
Tonton? Sorry, not Tutu. Sorry, how did I? Yeah, god damn.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm thinking now as well. Like I'd like, yeah, we need a a nostalgia on the rocks after dark because I want to go down that musical rabbit hole as well. That sounds.
Then I think all right. So you say you got to bounce. I don't want C getting mad at me. All right, she already. I have a feeling like you already badmouthed me to her enough. I don't need her. I don't need her like giving me the stink eye when I show up at your guys' house to record one of these live. Which, by the way, we are gonna do at some point. I will make the drive down, and I will bring my mic. I will bring my webcam. I'll bring my fucking light. I will do everything.
If I know roughly about where you are. It's a 90-minute drive. It's not a long drive.
Which is nothing for me. Midwestern American. Not a problem. That one we might not have a guest on just because we're going to have enough goddamn technical difficulties. But the fact that I wanted to have us have a split screen like this and then be like, oh, wait a minute. Boom, and it's just a wide shot like, oh, this is so much nicer. Just to like have the illusion. Better yet, just have a line. That's not even like a thing. We just like I literally just draw a line in the middle of it just so that it's like, wait, are they in the same room or two different? What is happening?
You seem to think my flat is a lot bigger than it is. Like we will be crammed in like that. Like like.
You act like I'm scared.
There's nostalgia on the rocks after dark.
Oh, it's real saucy. All right, but God, see that. I'm not trying to even follow that up because mine. So I'm the fifth of seven. Like I am a Midwestern guy, like Midwestern kid, small town USA kind of living, right? So like a lot of the station, like there's a handful of stations that I remember, which was like, 93.7 The Bull, which was like just our country station. You had KC 95, Real Rock Radio. And then you would have like a couple of the like college radio station. Like you had like a community college that had a college radio station that would play like the kind of like I don't want to say underground, but the more underground stuff. Like, just like the smaller bands, stuff like that they would do on there. But then with me being the fifth of seven, like my oldest brother is, oh heavens, I think about a decade, if not more. I'll ballpark a decade older than me. We'll just say that just for the sake of story, right? Probably way off on that number, but no, they're not here to correct me. So he's got like a bit of age on me, and then like my oldest sister, she's a few years younger than him. My older brother is a few years younger than her, and then my older sister is about 18 months, 2 years older than me, right? So like there's a fair gap between all of us. So I remember a lot of the music that I listened to was either stuff that my dad listened to, or stuff that I got from my siblings that I wasn't allowed to tell my parents that I was listening to. So I was listening to like ludicrous, like God, what is it? Like dirty, not Dirty South. Was it Mount some? I forget. I remember the album cover, but it was like
Okay.
it was. I remember one of the songs on it had a "Coming to America" line where like the royal is clean, Your Highness, and then it was just like, and then it would go into it. I think it was the one with like move, bitch, get out the way, like that
Okay.
one on there. And I remember listening to that a whole bunch. Like I remember listening to that. I remember listening to uh like Ying Yang Twins and everything else in just that general time period because of the simple fact that my older sister would download it. Word of mouth, thank you, Avenge. Appreciate you. Um my sister would download music and change the name of it because we only had the one family computer. So
Oh
she would
no.
like rip CDs and all that other stuff and she would just change words to it. My dad, it is so amazing for the simple fact that he clicked on a random song that he thought it was like some 98 degrees is what my sister titled it or like was like what she changed it to, and he was like, what song is that, like what new nonsense are they listening to? And it was just, shake your ass, watch this. He was like, what the hell? And like he said, Ashley, like, oh. And it was just like one of those things that like I remember, like my dad still tells that story of like him going into work and talking to his colleagues at work about it and then being like, I mean, she's got good taste in music. He was like, that's not the point. She is not old enough. Oh man.
I just like before I go, we'll just
Yeah.
tell a like similar story like from what I gathered by
Mhm.
the end of that. So 98, I want to say 1998, the Marshall Mathers LP came out.
Ooh.
Eminem's second album,
Yep.
which there was a bit of moral panic about Eminem back in the late 90s because
Back in the when? Back in the always.
every day,
every decade, every time he puts out an album, there is a moral dilemma with what is on that album.
But I was like the right time. Like I was again, like would have been 9 or 10 when that album came out, and like we'd talk about it at school, and it was like all talked about in like hushed tones because like, oh man, have you heard about this album? He's like he's like swearing in songs, isn't that great? And like I'd finally sort of convinced like my parents to buy the album, I think, because they were kind of unaware of it, and like they brought it home, and my dad noticed the parental advisory sticker on the front, and so my dad was like, right, before we give this to young Ollie here, I need to listen to this album myself.
Oh god.
My dad still listens to the Marshall Mathers LP to this day. Like my dad being like old school, like the only stuff he listens to is either Irish folk music or like 70s hard rock. Those are his only two like speeds. He is like, it is a binary choice for my dad. It is either we are listening to Pink Floyd or the Dubliners. They are the only two options. Like, but my dad absolutely fell in love with Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP, and there is a song on that album called Kim. It's I think it's called Just the Two of Us. And it's a song in which, like, Eminem, for better or worse, like, for better or worse, Eminem sings a song in which he is talking to his infant daughter about the fact that he has just killed his wife,
Mhm.
and they're gonna bury her at sea, and then it's just gonna be just the two of us, and it samples the whole like just the two of us, we can make like it, and it's, if you take a step back, it's really fucking gross. It's kind of, it's very problematic, but
Oh,
on
yeah.
its surface level, it is quite a funny song.
That is
My dad still sings that song. My dad still references that song on like a monthly basis. He thinks it's one of the greatest things ever recorded. He is
That's awesome.
blown away by
That
it.
is-
Blown away.
God, I love that. I love that so
Mm.
much. I love that so much.
Um,
Eminem is one of, I would say, top 3 all time. Like for me, like any like for just like kicking on music, like if I'm listening to anything, like or if I gotta pick music for a long drive, a trip, or whatever, like I'm you're like, oh, you're only allowed 3 bands on whatever, right? Eminem is getting picked as one of those because like not even like getting into his whole discography, aside, but I distinctly remember like Oliver saying, like, like you talk about the album on the schoolyard and all that kind of stuff, like be real hush tones and all that stuff, because I remember uh God, I'm blanking on the name of the song now, but it was Clean Out My Closet. There it was. I remember that song specifically sticking in my head for a long time, as well as The Way I Am. Those two tracks I remember so distinctly that I would just, because I was like, oh, it's fine. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, mama. And then my dad finally broke it down to me one day. He's like, that is not a song you need to be singing. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm sorry, mama. He's like, yeah. He's also talking about a lot of messed up shit in that song that I don't need you singing that song. And I was like, okay, continue to sing it as I mowed the lawn, but he couldn't hear me over the sound of the mower, so it was fine. But it's like stuff like that was just like, that was a lot of the like 2000s hip hop or rap that I remember a lot of, like, and as it is very plain to see on the YouTube, if for anybody who's just listening to this audio, I am what's classified as Caucasian. So me listening to Akon, Young Jeezy, anything in that sort of realm where the hood is involved, um I don't sound right singing it, period, dot, there's no two ways about it. I am just of not It's just like if somebody were to try to sing something in like soprano, it doesn't sound right leaving my vocal cords, but it doesn't stop me from thinking about and listening to that stuff. Like I was at work, this was 2014. I was working in an office by myself, and I was just like rebuilding some parts, and I had some music on. I had Young Jeezy playing, and somebody came back there and they were like, "Who the hell?" And like they saw me and they were like, "I'm sorry. Why is Kenny Chesney not playing? You are way too white for this." I was like, and I was like, "Did you just assume I listened to Kenny Chesney?" He was like, "You are from middle of nowhere, Illinois. There is no way in hell you knew who this was before getting here." But it was just like that's because there was such a huge gap in age, and like because we were a bunch of kids that wanted to rebel against what my dad said to listen to. So like yeah, we dipped into that 2000s like rap, like really that kind of genre stuff. But then even still, like I would get into like 80s rock, where like me and my younger brother to this day, like I remember distinctly ripping a CD of Motley Crue onto the 360 and playing Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer with Motley Crue playing in the background. Like Shout at the Devil is forever in my brain the same. I can envision it. Hear that song and I think of the Modern Warfare 2 map where you were on a rooftop and you could scale to like a higher point as a jackwhack, like just to hack your way up there and then just snipe at it from the top of the map. Like I distinctly remember those things. And it was just like getting into all that kind of stuff, and like that's why my music, like if you get into my iTunes library, it is such a weird, confusing place to be, for the simple fact that everything that I listen to is just like, why are these things together? Like hitting shuffle and going from Young Jeezy to AC/DC to Kenny Chesney to Day to Remember to Lindsey Sterling to Frank Sinatra doesn't make fucking sense. Nobody in their right mind would put these things together, yet for some reason they're there. And it's just, I don't have any cool stories like that, like what either of you two really had with the music. Like the only other thing I have like that is how I was at one point really into Christian music because I was a good church going child at one point.
Here, I'll make you guys feel better. Until like recently, and even then, I'd still no one major or famous. Okay, so until recently, I had never gone to a concert, and that is my dirty little secret. I saw Billy Talent live for the first time. I think I was 25, so like 5 years ago, at a what's called the North by Northeast. I believe we're at North by Northeast, um, which is like this big gathering, get together, and like I've never gone to a real live, go to a like an event place and go to a concert type of thing
Mhm.
until very recently. And that's like one of my biggest dirty little secrets is like I love music, but the live scene until my brother became like an artist with like his own band was never a huge like I need to go see a concert live.
I mean, I can say I've only been to 3, and 2 of them were Christian related. One of them was called Agape, which is like a Christian version of like Warp Tour, would be the easiest way to put it. Turns out,
Okay.
oh right, here's the thing, right? Skrillex was there with or not Skrillex, Skillet. Sorry, not Skrillex, Skillet. Sorry, I always fuck that up. Skillet, which is a like hard rock Christian band, which they've done a lot of actually good songs with it. But there was another individual there, Christian rapper, Hobson. Was that one of those? He's a hip hop artist. He did some Christian stuff at once upon a time. He's also done stuff with like Tech9. You guys know who Tech9? Come on, Tech9. Anyone
No.
in the building?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. We got one, and
Okay.
it is. That stuff was like I had no idea who that was, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I was like, the fact that we had a rapper there was blowing my mind to begin with, because I was expecting a lot of acoustic guitars and bullshit, because that's what a lot of it was. Because I was also getting brought there by my church, so I assumed it was going to be trash. But aside from those two, the last one I went to was a Warp Tour in 2011 in St. Louis, where I got to see Bad Rabbit, which is still one of the bands that I still love to listen to randomly, because they are just like a weird, like funk rock band is how I would put them. And then A Day to Remember, Devil Wears Prada, Newfound Glory was there. Paramore I thought was going to be there, but they weren't there that day. It upset me a whole lot, but it was fine. But it was just like, those were like the 3 like actual concerts I've ever been to. And it was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd go to another one, but like those were like, that's the bar, and I'm like, if I go to any small venues, like I'm just not gonna care. Like, oh yeah, I saw A Day to Remember back in the day.
No, small
Small venues
venue,
are
like
great.
bands in small venues are the best. Like, maybe we could like I could do another 4 hours on
Just
like,
pull
live
C.
music
Just
stream.
order a takeout. Pull C in. No. All right, go. I love you.
Right,
Get out of
I
here.
gotta go. I love you guys. This has been awesome. Adam, you're
Yeah.
dope. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. This has
Yeah,
been
for
good stuff.
sure, Oliver.
Right, do you want me to leave the? Let me check. Like, is this gonna?
If you just turn your camera off, what happens? It
Does
shouldn't.
that work?
Yeah, I mean it's fine. You're like
Yeah.
frozen looking down, so it works. It actually,
Oh,
it's
it
fine.
freezes. Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean it's fine because it looks like you would normally look anyway. No, just turn your camera off. No, just be like in Discord, like just turn the camera off real quick, see what happens. I don't think it should move us. No, you're fine.
think it's
It's
gonna-
perfect.
dope.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So just
I'll
don't
see you
leave the
guys
call.
later.
All right, take it easy, man.
Perfect.
It's alright. Bye.
Bye. All right.
So I'm gonna.
So now
say-
that
I'm
he's
gonna,
gone,
like say, I have a hard stop at 3:50 because I'm gonna go get my vaccine shot today.
oh shit!
So
All right. So wait, what time is that? So how much longer you got?
it's 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay, easy. So because I kind of want to get into
Easy.
because easy because you put in here. I want to talk to you about about 2 things. One, the kind of pop punk scene, but then also
Yeah.
the weird one you put in here, Japanese hair metal.
Yeah.
So let's start with the pop punk, and then I want to end with the Japanese hair metal about like how that came into being.
If
Or
you
does
want to
those
go
tie into?
chronologically, we should start with the Japanese rock.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
Yeah. So basically, and I will. Have you ever seen the Saw movies?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically Saw 4, and there's a reason why I'm gonna like reference that one. But
Okay.
just to kind of like give you an idea of like what my musical like choices and careers were, I'm gonna go through a little bit more of a history. When I was about 15, I was a very big anime nerd. I loved music, I loved anime, and there was this anime called Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. And the
That
reason it
is
was
a
called Beck,
fucking name. That is a fucking
yeah, well,
name.
the manga originally was just called Beck, and then obviously like there's the artist Beck. So when they kind of like serialized it as an anime, they couldn't just call it Beck because people were gonna compare the two. So it just went with Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, and
Mhm.
it's the story of this Japanese teenager who haphazardly finds, and I don't know why haphazardly is the word I'm using today, but he happens to find um, uh, music,
Mhm.
guitar, and he learns guitar. And from that anime, me and my cousin both started playing guitar, not knowing that the other was watching the anime, not knowing the other was learning guitar. And me and my cousin have been super tight all our lives. We're a month apart, and like we grew up together basically, right?
Mhm.
Until I moved to Canada. And we both started playing guitar. We both started learning this, and from that point forward, anime music became a thing. So I absolutely love anime even to this day.
Mhm.
Bleach was one of the like
Oh
Bleach, Naruto,
God.
things like that,
Oh
right?
God. Bleach. I
So
like that show for
those
one
in
reason. The protagonist had red hair. That's the only reason I really like fell in love with that show. That's the only reason I gave that show any sort of try. I'll sit here and say it.
it
I ain't lying.
I absolutely love Bleach. That was one of the one like that was one of my diehards in high school. I got all my friends watching it. That's how I got my friends to start watching anime, and to this day they still reference it, like things like that. Um, but if you ever saw the intros for Bleach, those were like Japanese rock,
Mhm.
right? Like those were like hard rock, Japanese rock by a band called Asian Kung Fu Generation. The name of the song is called Rewrite. And Asian Kung Fu Generation was like my first taste of Japanese rock. So I got into that, and then I heard about this band that was revolutionary. And I mean revolutionary as in like predated all rock songs in Japan that I had heard of, that I had even like a concept or notion of, called X Japan. Now, X Japan is a band from the 80s who is typical, like, when I say hair metal, if you don't know what hair metal looks like, just look up X Japan and you'll understand in a split second. It's like super flashy makeup,
Mhm.
badass hair, and all that. X Japan became very quickly one of my favorite bands. Very, very quickly. They did anything from classical arrangements to hardcore super metal, like things like that. They had the whole spectrum. They had ballads, they had headbangers, they had everything you could like think about. They had that. And in Japan, they were instrumental in rock music coming to Japan. The
Okay.
drummer for Japan, for X Japan, the drummer is world renowned, and he actually produced one of the songs for Saw 4, the main song for Saw 4,
Okay.
called IV. It is X Japan that does this song.
Okay.
And so um the whole like spectrum of Japanese hair metal came from that. Now there is an entire movement that came from this one band.
Mhm.
The band broke up back in 97 and came back in 2010 or something. So there was a huge break, but there was a huge movement that accompanied that. And that is where like my love of Japanese metal in general just kind of like stemmed from. But I was super late to the game. Super late.
Mm.
Like it wasn't in the 90s that I heard about them. It was like 2005, and they came back 2 or 3 years later, where there were rumors of them coming back and all that.
Yeah.
And so like that was my kind of like taste of Japanese hair metal. And from that, because I started listening to, like I said, with Oliver, punk and all that, I had like rock embedded in me, like Tony Hawk, things like that,
Oh yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
right,
Your
same page
your
with that.
standard, yeah, your standard like just I hate the establishment kind of like
Exactly.
that kind of like just in your face, real hard. Like they play 3 chords, but they play them real good. Rock music,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly. So I got from that to Japanese hair metal and came back to the American side. And my brother started at that point singing and screaming. So my brother, by originality, is a screamer for a metal band. So if you guys are getting a little bit of like insight on who Flowerless is, if you guys don't know who Flowerless is, it's my brother Jason Emmy. He started off by being a
Yeah, do you
screamer.
just want to we're gonna book him for the next one? You want to just put a word like we'll get
Yeah,
well
for
actually
sure.
if you just
I
want to
got you.
tag out and bring him in and
Jason.
that would have been actually the funniest shit. You're like, Jason! And then he actually walks in like, sup? I was totally kidding, but okay.
I mean, I could. I think he's downstairs. If you guys really want to do
no,
it, like I can definitely
no.
bring him.
As funny
But-
as funny as it would be for the bit, I also don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, that's
next time for the After
Um,
Dark episode. That's what we'll do. We'll bring him
let's
in.
do it.
We'll have a 4
100%.
person. We'll have a 4 person thing with you guys just sitting there.
Sure. And so he started screaming, and when you guys were talking about, oh, mom, it's just like, oh, I hope it's just a phase type of thing, like the parents saying,
Oh yeah,
it
they're
has
like
to be just.
it's the devil. There's no way. There's no way this is sticking.
So my mom is absolutely loves music. Could not for the life of us, when my brother was younger, practicing to scream in the basement. Like, you guys can listen to like music on MP3s or CDs or vinyls or anything and hear like the finished product. Let me tell you, when you have a 13-year-old kid learning how to scream, it is not the same thing at all. It is like that's what you're hearing all day, every day, for like weeks and weeks on end. It doesn't stop. My brother started with whisper screams because that's how everybody starts with screams, right? Like I can't get past that whole whisper screaming.
Yeah, the like where it's screaming, but yeah, it's real slow. Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And evolved. Or my favorite is the or like like I can't even do it properly. Like
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so you start from that. Oh yeah, for sure. Japan, absolutely. Big love for that one, Bob. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of I don't
send it. We're like I said, we don't talk to chat. We talk to them occasionally, but most of the time it's just we're not going to respond.
It's just
to
somebody actually knowing that band for me is like it's big, like it's heartwarming. So Jason started screaming, and that was like my first taste of like hardcore music, like hardcore metal. Before that, I had pop punk or like punk, just punk, like punk rock. That was my taste of like the rock side of things. He started doing that, listening to A Day to Remember, listening to The Betrayal by, oh my god, what is the name of the band that I can't remember? A beautiful
The Betrayal?
Memphis May Fire.
Memphis May Fire. I guess I'm trying to think of other things that would have been around that. Hawthorne Heights was a little too soft for it.
Pierce the Veil.
Pierce the Veil. Yeah. I'm thinking
so you have like that whole spectrum.
Yeah, that whole
right?
Yeah, there's a lot. We could just like that's a game of just like, all right, I name a band, you name a band, name a band, name a band. Like
exactly.
we could do that for a while. But
yeah. And so he was my real first taste of that kind of music, like the emo pop punk type of like
that pop punk
side
hardcore, that whole
exactly
whole genre
mix,
which is how that whole hardcore like
exactly.
no drugs or anything, and then like everybody who
straight edge.
Dude, the straight edge scene, can we just talk about that real quick? I'm sorry to leave it
Oh
on a
my
tangent.
goodness.
Every mother lover who was straight edge that I knew in high school is either a raging alcoholic, one guy actually makes meth. Like literally went to prison for making meth. And the other or just token up the fattest of blunts at all times. I was like, weren't you guys like real into that? They're like,
It's a dark spot in our history.
Hey, look, we've all been there. That's where my Christian music comes into play. Some of it was good, some of it was just, yeah.
Now, so I totally agree with you. Like, there's so many kids from back in the day that were like part of that straight edge scene that like you see a year later and they're totally like coked out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
100%. Um, I was never part like I from the time. Okay, so my brother was listening 13. I was 18, 19, give or take. I was just starting to have like a
Yep.
beer here and there. I never claimed to be straight edge, whatever that would have been at the time. I'm not a big drinker. I'm not a big anything really, but like
Yep.
just that was never like my scene. What I did love though was the rawness of the emotional music of like emo music.
Oh yeah.
Like there's like such a beauty and sadness to it. Like sometimes you just need that sadness.
Oh yeah.
And that was like my first taste, my first grasp at it, my first like, oh my god, what the heck was that solo? Like, what was that like instrumental song that you played for me back in the day? What was this amazing guitar lick that I just heard? Like, what was this powerful, raw, and like emotional scream that somebody just screamed for a song? Um, and I think had I not listened to, and I'm just gonna bring this back to one band that everybody knows. I don't have to explain it, but sorry, not Billytown, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
If I hadn't listened to Linkin Park and had Chester Bennington's voice ingrained in my heart, I would not have like been able to listen to that music.
Remember that 3 bands that I was talking about? Eminem being one, Linkin Park's the other one. I love like
Yeah,
Linkin Park.
for sure.
Linkin Park, that rap rock. The fact that they did an album with Jay-Z speaks volumes. Like the
Yeah.
last time some stuff like that happened. Well, I said last time. The only time before that like a rock and a rap group did anything that of notoriety that I can think of off the top of my head was Aerosmith and Run DMC. That was the extent, which I heard the only reason that happened was because Run DMC loved that intro to Walk This Way.
Oh.
Like that
Okay.
so it's so like the way Walk This Way starts out, so it's like and so before the guitar hits in, like they just like they remix it. So that's why in the music video for that song, which I know takes us back to MTV, Fuse, all that VH1, like
Yeah.
it starts off and it's like Aerosmith in there, and then like as it's about the guitar's about to kick in, you see Run DMC scratch the record, and then it kicks back over, and then that's when the Run DMC part kicks back in. And it's
Okay.
like they were next to each other in apartments, and then like Aerosmith like knocks the wall down, and then Steve Tyler like goes through. It's like walk this way, and then it goes back to them, and it's just the most ridiculous thing of like why that
look at that
existed.
now.
Yeah, but it's the music video for that is just as funny as it could be. But it's yeah, like that whole chocolate peanut butter is what I always heard. But like Linkin Park was such like the amount of AMVs I've watched with that kind of stuff, like just crawling in my skin, like
Yeah, that was my life for a bit. I made some of those AMVs, like for the Dragon Ball Z AMVs with Linkin Park
I didn't have
backing.
any. I probably could have if I had thought to download anything, or wasn't scared of downloading anything on my parents on the family computer.
Oh yeah. No, but like I totally get it. I am 100% with you on that. Like Linkin Park, I can listen to hours upon hours upon hours and never get sick of it. And that's one of like my traits. Like when I like a song, it's on repeat. But it's not on repeat for like the day. It's like the month. 3 months. To the point where my fiance will say, "Adam, I'm leaving you," and I'll still be listening to that stupid song. And it's just
that I have that every now and again. Like right now, I'm back on the because Mass Effect is now back in the scene, and when Mass Effect Andromeda, the game that almost killed the entire franchise, came out, they had the Rag and Bone Man human song. That I'm
Okay.
only human, human.
Oh yeah.
And like which that guy is phenomenal. But it was just like that song I remember listening to so much. And like right now I'm just kicking on, like I was cooking breakfast earlier. I was like, hey Alexa, play that. And it was just like, all right. And it was like I'm going at it and I'm just like singing along with it. My wife comes downstairs. She's like, What are you doing? What are you doing?
So do you know how often I'm like doing dishes and I'm just blaring music and my fiance will just so I'm just gonna put out my fiance's name is Christina. So Christina likes talking. She likes her own kind of music. It's very top 40s oriented, but my taste in music is just
Which we're not gonna judge. We're not gonna judge.
no,
However,
absolutely no.
they're
I love
judged.
top 40s.
Most of the time.
I love top 40s. It's just that's like she's very like, hey, top 40s is where my mind is at.
Mhm.
And I'm like all over the place. Like like I can tell you I have favorite classical songs, I have favorite like hard rock, I have favorite uh, 90s pop, whatever area you want me to go into.
We
I've
could
got
go
something.
karaoke one for one, and I think that would make a very interesting video of just bouncing between
Yeah.
between it.
But like, so I'll be listening to music, and I learned very early on in our relationship because our first date was 5 hours of talking about music. Um, like the story of how we met is not like super crazy or whatever. Like it's not like on my grandparents' scale, but the the first date itself was supposed to be, you go on a first date, you go grab coffee and you talk for a couple of hours. Our first date started, I think, at 8 p.m., ended at 3 a.m. because we just couldn't stop talking. And a good portion of that was music. But I also realized on that day that our musical tastes were vastly different. She was very much like Drake and like popular music of the moment. And I was like all over the place. And I really don't like Drake, but that's just me personally.
Like him
I
as
understand
a
why he's
person or as
popular.
an artist.
As an artist, I don't love his music. I think
Fair enough.
that I'll listen to some songs and I can I'll say that like his music is catchy. I just don't love there's certain tones in there that I don't appreciate, and like and I mean like vocal tones. When I'm talking about tones, I'm talking about the vocal tones and the nasality of his voice. Like
Okay.
that's where kind of like
And
that's where I am.
you're breaking this down way more than I thought. I was waiting for I don't like his lyrics. Like no, you're just like I
No.
don't like the way his voice comes out. I hate his voice and the way that the way his voice just leaves his face. I don't like that.
And like he could be a really nice person. He could be a great like philanthropist. He likes the Raptors, whatever. It's just like his music has never vibed with me. There's some instrumentality that's very catchy and popular, and then there's some things that I just don't like.
Yeah, I mean
That's
everybody's allowed their opinion.
exactly.
That's
And I bag on no one for liking that music because I know that there's so many people who do. I like something with a little bit more oomph and a little bit more distinction than that. So I found out really early on that the kind of music that I kind of like fall in love with, that's super crazy bass licks and like the heavy pop on the drums, the crazy like vocals, never really gonna be like, we're never gonna find a happy medium. So there's a lot of compromise. We listen to her stuff, we listen to my stuff. But when I'm in the mood to do some dishes or do whatever it is,
but when I'm in the
I pop on my ear. I put these headphones or whatever, earbuds, headphones, whatever I can get my hands on, because I know I'm gonna be blasting some screamo. I'm gonna be listening to some funk. I'm gonna be whatever it might be. I'm gonna like lose myself in that world, do some dishes or cook dinner, and she's gonna want to talk and be like, hey Adam, you want to talk? And I'm like, I guess. And I'm just like,
sure. I would actually recommend Bad Rabbit. Bad Rabbit. I think you might.
I'm gonna make a note of that because that's the second time you talk about that.
So they are like I won't lie, some of their stuff's ridiculous and a little like what the hell is this? But then some of the stuff like the album I heard, I just remember because it was like Warped Tour and they were like giving the CDs away when they were leaving. Like we were leaving, they were like, "Hey, check it out, like $1. Get $1,
Cool.
like $1. Just take this damn CD. I don't want to take this home." Like they were just like cracking jokes and like they said like, you know who carries around these CDs? People with big dicks. Big dick people carry around these CDs. And I was laughing my fucking ass off. So I was like, you heard this, man. He was like, see, this man, big old dick. They know how to sell. They know how to sell it to people.
I've got it ready. The second I'm out of here, I'm gonna listen to it quickly before I go for my.
I can't wait for you to be like, Paul, you have terrible taste. That is not a good. That was so bad. They were so bad.
Nah.
Oh man, but I feel like this is a solid enough point to wrap up. Hey, Adam, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate you stopping by. I'm obviously with Oliver dipping out a little early and, timetables and all that fun stuff. But, like I said, I really appreciate you stopping by. And we definitely need to do this again. Whether it's just us fucking off playing Fall Guys or some other dumb party game where we don't actually have to pay that much attention to the game. And I can just, because I probably, like I said, like we could sit here and I could listen to you talk about music the whole time. Like, I want to get more into your family's like just general like your family getting into stuff because that sounds fucking wild.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to do that anytime. And now the Fall Guys is like cross-platform with PC, PS4. I'm good to play with so many people.
Oh yeah, I mean I can play it on. I can play it with whatever on that one. But all right. So ladies and gentlemen, sports fans around the world, I want to thank you guys so much for spending time with us. If you guys are watching this on the YouTube channel, please make sure to go down there, hit that little like button, throw some up in the comments, and tell me some of the favorite bands that you grew up listening to. Better yet, tell me some of the bands that your parents didn't want you to listen to, because that's always fun. That's always fun seeing where like the levels of parental guidance come into play. But most importantly,
a ton of Eminem.
A ton of Eminem. Look, he is a generational threat to the hearts and minds of children. But I still love him. But most importantly, if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 100 subs. That way we can get that custom URL because it's small things. Like Blink-182 said, all the small things. Another one. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, for our last cheers, here's to you from us. Have a good one. Stay safe. Cheers.
Salute.